Yeah, the shining golden signs. Let your inner sparking night. Fat treasure, growing bright.
Yo, what's going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Spike back again once again, and today people, today we're here for number 1 Sentai Gozyuger episode 30. Man, we are over halfway done with this season. I didn't realize that. Like, we're in the 30s. God, we should be getting the next Sentai soon. We should be getting like leaks at least. The next Sentai. Wow, I ain't even thought about that. Gozyuger been killing the game for, since it's been here, in my opinion. But I'm like, man, okay. Hey, man. Anyway, but yeah, man, this episode. In this episode, we get introduced to our new Goju Tyranno. His name is Awesome, and Awesome apparently, they introduced him the way he feels like a Sentai version of Kamen Rider Legend. He just thinks he's pretty, and he's a prince and stuff like that. But apparently, this guy's an alien. Apparently, this guy's an alien from Prince Awesome Asamaka, and his planet basically specializes in tea making. That's why he talks about tea all this episode, and he seems like he's kind of a douche at first, and then when he meets the other Gozyuger, he immediately says that I'm your master, devote yourselves to me. I'm like, what? Dude, you just got here. And he already had subjugated a bunch of people in this episode too. Like, bro had a table sitting in the middle of a public staircase, and there's people walking around around him and stuff, and then some guy tried to press him, but then he picked up the dude, and then next scene he's bowing down to him drinking tea. And I'm like, yo, what did you do? But yeah, his whole thing is that he's trying to find all the rings so he can go home, and that's his whole MO. Like, I'm collecting rings, I'm not doing anything else. If I see you guys, if I see any other ring users or anything, I'm taking their freaking ring. But you could tell this guy's not from Earth, because he's doing stuff. He just invading personal space, invading privacy, just being rude. He goes to a tea shop and takes all the tea, and then makes Sumino pay for it, and she really didn't want to pay for it. We see that he walks up to these girls and just grabs their donut. I'm like, if I'm sitting down somewhere and you just walk up and just grab my donut and start analyzing this stuff, we gotta square up. You're not supposed to just grab my donut. Pause. But you're not just gonna grab my food and then just look at it. And then what was even worse was dude walked up to a man proposing to his girl, and he grabs the ring, and he grabs the engagement ring, and he was like, yeah, this is not the type of ring I was looking for. And he grabs it and puts it on the man's girl's finger in front of him and smiles at her. I'm like, yeah, I would have punched you in the face and thrown you off that and threw you into the ocean. I swear that's not something we're gonna tell our kids, babe. But he's just doing all this stuff, and in this episode we do see that Horu has gotten another job, and his boss is actually nice. He actually got a nice, friendly, is your boss but also your friend type of guy, and I was so happy about it. And he was very passionate about mochi. And this episode we get a mochi bunny No.1 monster, and I didn't realize this at first, but rewatching the episode, I actually saw that the guy playing his boss is the same was in King-Ohger, and he was one of he was Bushimir. Yeah, this was Bushimir. This was the guy that he was in King-Ohger, and he was one of the bodyguards for the king, or whoever was king. And I was like, oh, that's cool, I like that. And but it was cool to see him again. But obviously he's not playing that character, but still it was cool to see. It's cool to see. But yeah, he's the one that ends up getting ate up by the No.1 monster. And then this No.1 is turning people into mochi and pounding it. And I'm just like, what? Ew. I'm like, they're dead. Those people are dead. What? But yeah, so we see that Hodu is the one that ends up doing the No.1 battle, and he is trying to defeat the Mochi monster and stuff like that. But then we see Awesome, he's like, hey, fighting these No.1 monsters has nothing to do with me, or nothing to do with what I'm trying to do. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fight you guys. So he starts fighting everybody else, trying to take their rings and stuff. And he's like, why are y'all doing this? Y'all supposed to be fighting each other. He's like, no, we're trying to save this lady real quick. We can't just let the No.1 monsters do whatever they want. He's like, man, screw all that. So Hodu starts fighting them, and then Hodu, uses the Wolf Decaliber, a weapon we haven't seen in a while. He ends up using that, open a warp portal, and getting that dude to duck out of here, so they can go back fighting the Mochi monster. But he's gone, so now we got to redo that. But yeah, he ends up getting ported to where Mashido was. Mashido just sitting there on top of a roof with a chair and stuff like that, with honey next to him. I'm just like, it's just a bottle of honey. It ain't nothing else, no other food to put the honey on. It's just honey. You drinking the honey? I wouldn't put it past them. But they get into a fight, and we see that Mashido talks to the ring. He talks to the Tyranno ring, and was like, wow, you said, wow, you ain't got no sense of honor, huh? You just immediately went to someone new, huh? So we see that they're fighting, and he ends up demorphing and telling Tyranno telling Awesome, like, hey, come with me real quick. I'm gonna show you what these guys are really about. Like, he kind of spits that whole thing about why are they fighting, like why are they doing all this other stuff instead of doing the ring battle thing. So what was cool was getting to see Hodu do the #1 battle with the No.1 monster, but also having everyone else like support him. So everyone had like used their abilities to help him make the Mochi. We saw that Sumino turned into Gingaman, and she turned Lightspeed Rescue. Well, not Lightspeed Rescue, Lost Galaxy. Yeah, she transformed the Red Lost Galaxy and uses the firepower to heat up the Mochi. We see that Mashido came in to cool down the Mochi, and then we see Green come into also they incorporated the mech fight with the #1 battle, which was also really cool. And he goes into take a sword Green, and as he goes into space, we have a space battle, and while he's doing that, he's fighting the Gold Bell, one of the Gold Bells in its mech. It starts fighting him, and then he has to, for some reason, the Mochi needed to hit pure moonlight, so he points the Mochi up to the moon, and he kicks it back to Earth. And then that's when Goju Tyranno, he's basically like, you know what, he had like a little change of heart and stuff like that. And then he ends up using his hammer strength to pound the Mochi and created it, and it made it really good. And then we see Hodu stick it in the Mochi monster's mouth, and then claw him open, save the big man, save the boss, and then we end up destroying the Mochi monster. And then after that, we see that Yellow's like, hey, maybe what y'all doing isn't so stupid after all, and then he leaves. So then everybody's talking about Ryugi and how they kind of miss Ryugi and stuff like that. And then even Sumino was like, he didn't even if he, just because he lost his ring doesn't mean he had to leave, And then we see Byakuya, who basically says that, yeah, even if I did lose my ring, I think I'd come back to this place. And Sumino's like, did you expect to lose your ring? He was like, nah, I got my own battles. And then we pan over to Rai, and Rai ends up meeting up with Awesome, and he's in a Zenkaiger black form, and he ends up getting ready to fight. Awesome is like, hey, I'm in a good mood today, so I'll let you go. And then like Rai is like, nah, we doing this. And then he uses the Calamity Ring to absorb Awesome, and by absorbing Awesome, he is absorbing the Goju Tyranno ring, and then that's it. Like, bro just got here. That, like, I was just like, what are you doing? He just got here. And it seems like next episode we're gonna meet Ryugi again. It seems like Ryugi left and met up with his dad, I think, and became a doctor. And it seems like he's going to become Gozyuger Tyranno again. So I'm just like, what was the point of introducing Awesome? He just got here. He just had development in this episode, and now he's gone. Whatever. But anyway, what did you guys think about this episode of No.1 Sentai Gozyuger? If you made it this far, I surely do appreciate it. But yeah, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and remember, as I always say, stay henshined.